Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. Today I'm going to bring you a review on this power box. This is the Captain 1200. It's from VigorPool. This unit is actually a medium-sized unit, but they have designed the unit where you can take two of them and you can pair them together with a cable and you can run higher wattage required equipment. So let's go right into it. This one individual unit is 33 pounds. So it gives you the ability to carry a little easier than the bigger ones. This one is 1,280 watt hours. 1,280 watt hours. So that's how much juice is in the battery for one unit. They are 1,200 watts. 1,200 watts, and that is the inverter. That's how much it can handle, 1,200 watts. So when you pair these together with the cable, you can then get out of it 2,560 watt hours, which will give you a larger capability to run things longer. And that's the equivalent of most of the boxes out there. They're in the 2,000 watt hour ones for the average box. So it turns into an average size box that I usually review. This unit has the 1,200 watt inverter, so when you combine both of the inverters together with the cable, you're talking 2,400 watts. Now, that is continuous 24 when you have two of them, or you can go up to 4,800 watts on the surge capabilities. This has the LiFePO4 battery. That's the one I like, and most people do like it because it will last longer. It will give you more life. It is the lithium iron phosphate. They have paired this with a pure sine wave inverter, which most of the ones now are doing that, so it can run computers and other sensitive equipment. So this has the ability to pair these together, and I will show you. You have one simple cable that will let these work together. Let me show you what else it can do. The unit has really everything you want to plug into it on the front. You definitely have your USB ports. USB ports, and it has a USB-A, that's 18 amps each. You have a USB-C, which is 100 amps each. You also have your 12-volt cigarette lighter and two additional 12-volt outputs. To charge the unit, you flip this up, and it will come with your regular cord to plug into the wall. You don't have a little tiny power box. Everything's built in, so you just plug it in. You have your reset, and then you have your Anderson port. Now the Anderson port is for your solar. The solar on this unit can accept, each individual box can accept 400 watts of power. Your AC, which is either your grid power or your generator, is rated up to 800 watts. So in a few hours you can charge this off a grid power or off a generator. Which is important. You want to be able to quickly charge this if you're running a generator, because if you're running a generator, you're using fuel. This unit is better than pass-through. Pass-through is the minimum requirement that I like, but this is a UPC, so it's an uninterrupted power supply. So that is actually better than the pass-through. So basically what you can do is it will put power into it, and then you can still use it. So if you're charging it with solar, you're charging it off the grid, or you're charging off a generator, you can put power into it and you can also use that power. It has the ability to plug this into a generator. It would be at 800 watts. Plug it into your solar. Max would be 400. So each one of these boxes can charge up to 1,200 watts, which is good. It does it very, very quickly. Let's go to the back side and let me show you what I found. You have your AC plugs on the back side. When you pair these together, I have found out that the only thing you have paired together is the inverter. That way, you have taken that inverter from 1,200 watts and you've turned it into a 2,400 watts. So, if you want to charge this unit and you plug a unit into this thing, the only thing you'll be charging, because there's no communication other than inverter on that slave cable, is if you plug power into it, it will only charge this unit. So if you wanted to charge both at the same time, you would have to plug them both in, and then they would each be charging at 800 watts. Charging just one does not pass through power at all over to the other unit. It just stays in here. But the nice thing is you can charge it 800 watts. You could put your solar, if you have max 400, so you can put 1200 watts into this unit. And you can, if you had additional 2 solar panels or whatever solar panels up to 400 watts, you could charge this one. So the only thing that talks back and forth is it shares battery and it shares inverter. So this unit, when I tested it, was very efficient, surprisingly efficient. I'd say 87%, and that was using a watt meter. So, you know, if you had scientific equipment, you could really probably get it very accurate. But for mine, it was very, very surprisingly a high efficiency rate on the inverter. The one thing I found that I didn't like was when I plug something into this unit, and I purposely try to take it to the max, and I like using my watt meter, and I use the electric heaters, because electric heaters pull a lot. What I found was one of these running by itself, just doing one at a time, I could get way into 1400, not even a problem. I could get into 1500, which is very surprising. I was thinking it would be kicking off, but it didn't kick off. The weird thing was when I got near 1600, all of a sudden I heard the fan on the heater just definitely slowed down a little bit. And I checked it out, used the watt meter, hit the voltage part on the voltmeter, and what they do to protect it, instead of tripping, they protect it by dropping the volts. So I went from like 120 way down to 100. So at first it scared me until I realized with more research that that's how they do it. I was expecting it to trip. I'd have to reset it. It did not trip. I added a few more things to it, and it did trip over 1600 instantaneously, and then it tripped. So I then combined both of these units together, saying, what's it going to do? When you do it together and you use the slave cable, you can pull close to 3000 before it trips, which is a little scary because on the single one, if you had a computer hooked up to this, if you had a refrigerator, that would not be good for that refrigerator. So in the manual, that's why they warned you, do not go over. I would rather see, you know, you go over, it kicks out, not drops the voltage. I don't know why they put that feature in there. If you know why they put that feature in there, please put it in the comment section. I would have rather saw pull too much, kills it, reset it, and go from there. So you sort of have to know that. I was very impressed with the inverter. It went way over the 1200 watts. So that was nice, but I don't like that feature. When I did it with the 3000, when I paired them both together, it kicked off and you have to reset it. So that's one thing. There's a few other things that I like about this unit is the ability to have 2 pieces of equipment. I have some people that I've talked to that each of them have either some type of medical equipment and they sleep in separate rooms. They're very elderly. This would give them ability to each have their own machine, so they wouldn't have to have one machine in one bedroom and run an extension cord. So that is a great feature. The UPC on this thing, uninterrupted power supply, is very nice to have because it's better than the pass-through, and it will let you run. Most computers can run off of it because it's that quick enough. The other positive thing to recommend to preppers is definitely the lithium iron phosphate battery. That's what you want to have. The one thing that you need to check in before you buy any power box or really anything that costs a lot of money is customer service. Do they have good customer service? Check their customer service. I've had people buy units from all over different companies, and sometimes the customer service isn't there. They've had to wait a long time before they could get an answer to their question. Another feature about this that's pretty cool is the lights that are on it. There's a light on actually both sides of these units, so actually there's 4. If you wanted to use that, you can put one unit on top of the other unit, and that way you can use all 4 lights. I did like that feature in a room because I could put it near the center of the room, turn on both lights on both sides of the machine, and it lit up the room better than just one light. And it's low, medium, or low and high, and then it has some flashing that will drive you crazy. So this unit sells individually. You have to go ahead and purchase each individual unit. One unit, they're right now about $1,000. I did the evaluation, compare that to watt hours of this unit and many others, and I did come to the conclusion that this one is a little bit more expensive with watt hours. So it is high on the high end because you're paying a premium because you're getting two complete units. So you're getting two completes, inverters, charge controllers, everything. That gives you some redundancy. The nice thing about that, if you have one single power box and something goes wrong and it breaks, you can't use it. In this case, you have redundancy. So if one of these breaks for some reason, you at least have some power. They do have a 2-year warranty on this. When this originally came out, I think I saw the price at $700 per unit, which was a great deal if you could have got in on that early bird special and got it. Right now, they're $1,000 a piece. So if you add those up and you add your cable, you're about $2,050. If you compare that to any other unit in that same realm of about 2,000 watt hours, about a 2,000 watt inverter, you are paying a premium of hundreds and hundreds of dollars more to have the ability to have two different units. That way you could separate them in your house if you want to, or you could combine them together to make a unit that can handle a lot more watts coming out of the inverter. So the unit is solid. I found nothing wrong with the unit other than their crazy way when it goes too high with one unit to drop the volts. I do not like that. I know how to manage it, so to me it wouldn't affect it. But if you don't know what you're doing and you throw a bunch of stuff on here and then all of a sudden you throw a computer on there or you're running a refrigerator and it drops from 120 volts down to 100, there could be some damage done to some of your equipment. So you have to be very careful not to have that happen to you. So look at watt hours. This one is definitely higher than a lot of units, but you have redundancy. Is it worth the premium to have two totally separate machines where you could put one in a bedroom and then one in the living room or in the kitchen and have power in multiple places? But then you could also use that cable and pair it up. So they did a great job on the unit. Other than that crazy little thing on the overload, I found absolutely nothing wrong with it. It has a very efficient inverter in here, and it works great. The only thing I have in it is priced at a premium because you actually get two units. I hope this helps. This will give me another company in the inventory, so if things get crazy in this world and you can't find an exact unit you want, there are other units that work great. You just might pay a little bit more for them. Thanks for watching.